does one transition from a more general role to your specific area of expertise as a college instructor?
Well, generally speaking, it is about the research you've done in the past. So, what research you've done, who's mentored you, and also personal interest. So, as a instructor, my area is marriage and family with an emphasis in weddings. And so when I was working on my master's and being mentored by various faculty, I specifically looked for someone who was as an expert in the marriage and family. And I also have culture and cultural studies and work, sociology of work. So it was this university I was at, you had to pick three areas. But my primary interest was marriage and family. And so I worked as a TA to assist my mentoring class, and over time got my own class. And so then that kind of led me to doing what I'm doing now. When I first got into teaching, there was another person at the university who was in the area, and so that allowed me to get those inroads into it. So it's kind of your personal interest is important. You don't want to get involved in something that you're really not interested in. I've always been interested in marriage and family, so that was a pretty easy transition.
What specific training or certifications do you have in this area?
Well, I have my undergrad in sociology, my master's in sociology and women's studies, and then my doctorate in sociology. The amount of training you have depends on, to a great extent, where you want to teach. Teaching at community colleges does not necessarily require a doctorate. But many of the other universities or colleges that are 4 year or have graduate programs typically do require that you also get your doctorate. So it's a question of where you want to go. What's the direction that you want to take?
What are the typical tasks and responsibilities of someone in your position?
Typically, it involves not only the creation of lecture material and exams and tests, but also in this day and age, a lot of emailing. You spend a lot of time on the computer responding to email and answering student questions, mentoring students as well with their own projects or interests is another important component of it. But interacting with students along their academic journey is key, starting with the classroom and going from there.
Okay. What non technical skills or soft skills or qualities are essential for success in your role?
A curiosity is first, I think, foremost, curious about the world around you, curious about students and their life experience. But I would also say a certain level of fairness and understanding the implications of fairness. You don't want to be too much of a pushover, but you do need to acknowledge that the choices and decisions for that class have to apply to everyone. And it's depending on circumstances. If it's something outside of a student's control, for example, a health issue, then it's important to give grace. But if a student makes poor choices and doesn't do their work, it's not fair for them to get credit when other people have taken the time and done their work. So I think broadly a sense of fairness, but also a curiosity about people, a certain level of emotional intelligence when dealing with people, and also feeling comfortable in front of groups. You know, if you're lecturing to 50, 100, 150 students, you need to feel comfortable in front of groups, which is not something that is often people often get trained for. You can take public speaking, but just being comfortable in front of groups as well.
What are the pros and cons of your career path?
The pros is all the free time. I always am amazed at how people are able to manage a life with a regular 9 to 5 job because there's so much that has to be done in life. Now, free time is probably the wrong term to use. I should have said control over my time. So I might be in class for, 4 or 5 days a week, but maybe I'm in class for 3 hours of that time. The rest of the time is my time to create lectures and answer emails, etc. Having summer vacations off, I still really like that. But that just means I'm not going into the office, right? That doesn't mean I'm not doing work. The lectures have to be updated. The information has to be kept current. But I have the freedom to go and do that at Starbucks, as opposed to sitting in a normal office. So that would, I would say, would be a huge perk. The downside of the job, I'm honestly hard pressed to find one, partly because I enjoy what I do. I mean, there's stuff that people gripe about, okay, I got to go to another meeting. But in the scheme of the world, sitting in a meeting where they provide you with cookies and a bottle of water is not an issue. It's not a bad thing. So I don't necessarily see a downside of it. It's just kind of stuff you have to do that's part of the work. But overall, I've been doing it long enough to say I like what I do. hmm Yeah.
What are the biggest challenges you face in your field?
I would say the biggest challenges are on a couple of levels. One is just staying current on so much of the world changes so quickly, and to try to stay current on that. But I would also say the challenge, and on some level I find it's sad, is there are students who are only there because their parents want them there. They don't have a true interest or passion. And it's hard to motivate people when they don't want to be in the space. They're just ticking a box, right? And so finding a way to connect them and what they're learning to the larger world. Let's make this interesting so you see why it's important to understand or learn about these things. I mean, again, it's not the hardest or worst challenge in the world, but it is something that you need to take seriously, that students don't often want to be in that space. They're ticking off a box because their parents want them to. And so that can be a little bit challenging.
Thank you for joining our Ask the Expert section.